Welcome to our church here at St Aldhelms. I hope you will enjoy this short video, which is very much all about our children and young people's ministry here. Weymouth is a really interesting seaside town. It had a former glory, once a naval port, but that has disappeared. What we're left with really is a sense of affluence alongside poverty. When I came here in 2016, we began to work quite hard on setting out children and young people as a priority in our mission. So, for example, we were beginning to make stronger links with our local primary schools. We began to establish a breakfast at 9 service here, for example. That was back in 2017. I know also that we began to build in sort of holiday clubs here as well. So drawing recruitment from families connected to the school, we began to build relationships, which became really good sort of relationships between us all. We set out not just the breakfast at 9 service, but we wanted to employ a children's and families worker. And we began to see growth now. You know, families are beginning to come. They find the environment here at the breakfast church just superb. And it's an environment where they begin to learn much more about the Christian faith.
So when I came in 2019, there were children here, but obviously wanted to grow that ministry. And we have a local primary school, which we have now gone into and made really good relationships with. So I go in there a lot and do assemblies, and we've done school lessons, which has been great. I've also started a fun club for primary age kids on a Friday night. So we're just trying to build that up at the moment. And we've got kids coming to that from holiday clubs that we've done. We've done quite a few holiday clubs here, which have been really well attended. And we just wanted to make sure that we could just get to know those families more and grow relationships. And so we've brought them into a Friday night kids club, which has been really, really good actually. And a lot of those kids go to the local school. So it's great that they're seeing us in that capacity. And we also do light parties, loads of one-off events that we do in the community. And we're also doing a youth alpha because we had a lot of kids who were sort of year 5, year 6, and then COVID happened. And so in that time they got older and there wasn't really a provision for them, and so started up doing a youth alpha here, which is actually going really, really well. So the impact has been really amazing. We started with about 20 kids and now we're probably up to about 80. And it's all about relationship. We just want to get to know the community and just let them know that we're here and we're alive, and we want them to know that Jesus loves them. And so that's been amazing. We've had a really good impact with the young people. A lot of them are thinking about baptism now, which is really great.
When we first came, we did have what we termed junior church within the main service, but gradually that sort of tailed off. And so we started to pray for what's next. And what's next is what's happening here now, the 9 o'clock breakfast. And it's just grown and grown and grown. And it's a super thing to be involved with, actually. It's not just for the families and the children, it's for anybody. It links everybody together. It's being part of the family.
Just to go in there and be a part of those young families. Yeah, you know, we can be honorary grandparents. That's a nice thing, isn't it? Nice so we can get to know the families.
Yes, it's a family time, and it's really, really good. I think it's brilliant. I love it.
So since joining St Aldhelms, I've become a street pastor. I've been baptised. I feel in myself just amazing. A better wife, a better mum, you know, better me.
I started going to Alpha like a year ago, and that's really been a good influence. It's just a really nice way for young people to learn about how God can come into anyone's life. So I really want to get baptised.
Being baptised, it didn't feel like what I thought it was going to feel like. It felt more real to me, more personal, more like Jesus met me right there in the water.
Mainly, we want to just help these young people develop and become part of their community. Whether that's their community at home, whether that's their community at school, or whether that's the community here in church. And we want the young people who come to our place to feel secure and to feel that they can be themselves. Christ welcomed everyone. And that's what we want to do, and that's what our goal is really. So we have Hope House, which is a building just over here, and at Hope House, that's sort of the centre, if you like, of the youth work that we do, and that's for people to come to. I then also work in other churches doing other projects. But yeah, most of the stuff takes place in Hope House, and people come along to that. And we had somewhere between 21 and 24 young people every week that would come to the Alpha course. We would feed them standard Alpha. We had a meal together, then we discussed and we explored together. And so that was the Alpha numbers. Up at St Aldhelms, which is another church, we have an Alpha course there of a Sunday night, and that we get about 13 young people come to that. That's just coming towards the end of that. And then we also did an Alpha school, just a small Alpha group in the school, secondary school. So in the secondary school, we get about 8 and 10 young people come to that. And so this past year, we've seen a great amount of engagement. I think the key, one of the keys to seeing growth, to seeing young people wanting to engage in a faith group, is just what I said earlier, is that family, is acceptance, is love, is communicating with families and the community, but it's also letting young people see that actually faith-based groups, they're just normal groups, but they've got we have that added advantage, I believe. But it's just being someone who loves young people. I think that's the key, is actually loving the young people in our community.
My favourite thing about the youth group is that how friendly the people are.
But when I go to school, I've got like exams to do and stuff like that, and just knowing there's someone there that I can go to outside of school to talk to and to like spend time with, or just to pray in general.
It's had such a big impact in like helping me grow in my relationship with God, but also just giving me like a community of Christians that I can turn to.
Just helps me have like a stronger gain to faith. Like my faith is strong with God, and it helps me like just want, like, as if God's telling me to be a church and be a role model to like the young people here, because like He's been there for me, and so if I can be there for them as well.
My favourite thing about the youth work here is the fact that we feel like a family and that we can freely talk about how we feel.
I would like to see the wider church beginning to have a vision for how they can grow children's and young people's ministry. There are things that can be replicated from our own experience. For example, a cafe church or a breakfast church, Sunday groups for children and young people could be replicated anywhere. It is all about these key letters: prioritize, resource, adapt, and being you. I'd love to see that being spread abroad across the deanery here in Weymouth and Portland.